Okay, so we just talked about how exponents are linked to logs, and we reviewed the properties of exponents. When you multiply like bases, you add the exponents. Divide like bases, you subtract the exponents. Power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So, when we look at a logarithm, because a logarithm is an exponent, when we multiply here, we can rewrite this as addition because we're dealing with exponents. When we have division, we can rewrite it as subtraction. And when we have something raised to a power, we can treat that power like multiplication. So basically, these are the properties of logs that we'll be using. If we go this way with it, we call that expanding. If we start with this side and go this way with it, we call it condensing.
Oh.
And most of the time we'll say condense to a single log. To be able to condense to a single log, though, you're going to notice that you must have the same base every time to be able to condense it to a single log. So that's what we're going to practice today. Starting with things that are products, quotients, or powers and expanding it, or starting with something, sum, a difference, or a product and rewriting it as a single log. Okay. Does anybody need a moment more to write those, or are we good? If you didn't write them, it's okay, because these rules are on page 259 of your workbook. They're also in your book. But this is a nice table. It does exactly what I just did, doesn't it? And it reminds us of things that just make sense. What power do you raise a base to get that same base? The first. So whenever we have our base and our answer match, we know it is equal to 1. What power do you raise any base to get 1? The 0 power. Now this one's kind of combo. We just talked about how this power can come out in front and be written as multiplication. And because of that, we know that log base b of b is 1. And m times 1 is m. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's kind of a shortcut you can memorize, but I don't like to memorize shortcuts because my brain forgets shortcuts. But once it understands, I'm good to go. So I like to understand the rules to be able to simplify these. Now, in your workbook on page 263, we have some problems where it asks us to write it as a single log. So if you're looking in your workbook with me, you can jump here. If you're not, it's okay. You can just follow along. All right, so if we were to write this as a single log, first we got to notice that we're working in base 3 for both of them, so we're good. We can condense it to a single log. So what does addition become? Addition becomes multiplication. So when we condense it, this addition would become multiplication. And what is 9 times 27?
Big number.
It is. It's the big number 243. Okay? So, this says write as a single log, and then it says then, this word made no sense, but what I meant to write was simplify. And then simply. Yeah. It almost sounds like a ballet move, doesn't it? Simply. All right. No. Simplify is what I meant to write. Okay. Well, this one does simplify because I can raise 3 to a power and get out 243, and that power happens to be 5. It's written right here. So that's kind of cheating.
You should know that. Did you know that?
Now, I actually did know it because there's a shortcut to this one. They don't all work this way. Actually, very few of them work this way. But do you see that I can simplify this? Because what power do we raise 3 to get 9? 3. No, try again. 2. And what power? You were answering the second question. What power do I raise 3 to get 27? 3. And what's 2 plus 3?
5.
Oh, look. Isn't math so super cool? It works this way and this way, and of course we get the same thing because it's true.
That's math magic.
It is. Okay, if we know it works that way, we know we're going to get 3 plus 4 or 7, right?
Right.
So we know what the answer is going to be. Let's just prove that it works. So what does addition become?
It's a multiplication.
Multiplication. And so that's 48, and so that's 128. Okay. And log base 2 of 128. Those of you that still have your calculators out, do 2 to the 7th.
Okay, 2 to the 7.
can tell you right now,
It is. Okay. So this is condensed to a single log. That's what this part is. And this one happens to simplify. Will they all? No. Many of the problems we do will stop right here. They will not simplify further. This one happened to. Okay, now this one. I don't know what power to raise 10 to get 80. Nor do I know what power to raise 10 to get 125. So I can't do this one that way. And guys, did I even need to write the 10s down here?
No.
No, because this is the common log. Very good. But I can multiply them.
80 times 1.
And when I multiply 80 times 125, what do I get? 10,000.
10 big old G's.
All right, now this actually does simplify. Because how many zeros are there? 4. 10 to the 4th is 10,000. So this didn't simplify, and this didn't simplify, but when I put them together, they do.
He was so confused.
Good job, I can count.
Okay, cool.
It's like, what?
All right.
God was now.
So this is addition. We would rewrite addition as multiplication. So we get 8 times 27 here, and 8 times 27 is 216, and that one simplifies to what?
I don't know.
3. Okay?
Guess.
Now, many of them will do like this one. Very little. They won't do much at all. Base 5, so I can combine them. So this addition becomes multiplication. Now, so far all we've dealt with is addition. Addition. Well, we also had subtraction
Division.
and multiplication. So this subtraction, you're right, becomes division. So we get A over 4. But this 2 is going to become a power just for the A. Do you see it's just located in front of the A? Did y'all hear? That's
So we
it.
just
Kids. Why are there children in the building?
Because
I mean,
it's a
like-
free country.
I'm not
See that?
certain.
Don't really explain it.
I'm not certain. It's been a little loud today. All right.
Can't though.
I mean, it literally sounds like there's a mouse in your eye.
Oh my God.
Wow. You tried to hit me.
Okay. Now, this one. If we have 80 minus 10, that would become division, and 80 divided by 10 is 8, and that simplifies to 3. Okay? 4,000 divided by 40 would be what? 100, and log of 100 is 2.
Oh, it is.
Yes.
Ten.
Okay, now this one has a good bit in it. So, when we deal with this multiplying out in front, it only goes to what's behind it. So, the only thing that's going to get cubed here is the b. So, let's start this one. Let's check it out. Base 2, base 2, base 2, we can do it.
A divided.
Alright, so it becomes A divided by not just b, but b cubed
Right.
times C. Well, when I multiply times C, doesn't that really just put a C up here?
Yes.
Yep, it does. Okay? So that's pretty much condensing in a nutshell. Woo! That is not what I meant to do.
Whoops.
Okay, so expanding. So let's take a look at the expanding one. It's the reverse. That's it. You just break it apart. So times becomes addition. The powers come out in front, but only in front of what was raised to that. And division becomes subtraction. Done. That's all there is to it. It's the reverse of what we just did. So, you say out loud what the first one is. Log base 3 of 4. What's the first operation? Plus,
Plus.
minus.
Plus.
It is. Plus what?
3 times
3 times log
base
base 3 of
A.
A. And then what? Minus
2 times log base 3.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. And that is expanded. So condensing, expanding, the same thing, just 2 different ways. Okay? Okay, cool. All right, now this is using that property. What can I do with this? It can come out in front and become multiplication. What happens when the base and the answer are the same?
Equals 1.
This is 1. And 6 times 1 is 6. So, do I really need any work?
No.
No, what's the answer?
5 or 5.
X minus 5. So let me show you. This comes out in front and becomes times. And log base 5 of 5 is 1. So x minus 5 times 1 is x minus 5. Now, I haven't showed you how to do this, but what do you think the answer is?
30.
You're right. So let's talk about why.
Right.
So, a base raised to an exponent equals an answer. Let's switch forms. Whenever you have one log and you don't know what to do, you switch forms. So, this becomes log base 7 of A equals log base 7 of 30. The only way this can equal, this log can equal this, is if A is 30.
Someone did it. Right there.
Okay, so what's the answer?
Oh, I was about to say 30.
1.
1
1.
times 1.
The answer is 1. Okay, this one is a little trickier. It becomes 4 times log base 3 of 9, which is 4 times 2, or 8. All right, and that was my last example. Some of you may need to look at the notes today because you packed up a little early, and your homework is written on the board. It's also on the online calendar.
Okay.
I'll post the solutions. Make sure you come with questions tomorrow.
Okay.